This week we visit the hub of the Mohawk Valley, the city of Utica. Utica has many beautiful historic buildings, but as we have learned on our travels, buildings must have a function in order to survive the changing times. We visit the Utica County Historical Society, located in a building that is an example of historical perseverance.
Many were the times that I would ride my bicycle down from Seymour Ave to the Park Ave area to the corner of, actually it was a triangle. It was Park Avenue, Elizabeth Street, and John Street. And in that little triangle was the Oneida County Historical Society. It was one of the most fascinating places in Utica. You'd walk in and there was all of this history of the Mohawk Valley. And the building itself, it was a red tiled roof, it was Flemish, and with yellow brick. Unfortunately, that building no longer exists. But fortunately, there is still the Oneida County Historical Society, and it is housed in another historical building here on Genesee Street in Utica.
Just trying to find my way back home. Just trying to find my way back home. Just trying to find my way back home.
This building was built in 1915 by the First Church of Christ scientists. And until the mid-1980s, it was a church. In the mid-1980s, the congregation was dwindling, so they decided to move out, and the Utica County Historical Society was able to buy the building and convert it into a historical society. So this is a good example. It's a beautiful building. I don't know what would have happened if the Historical Society did not come along. Right across the street is the Temple Bethel that was built, I believe, in the 1920s. And now it's been sold to the Resource Center of Independent Living. So that's another building, a historic building, that will go to good use. The old Roberts building, John Roberts in the teens built a 5-story department store on Genesee Street, bordered by Devereaux on the north and Blandina on the south. And later in the 1930s, Roberts went out of business, and that building was bought by the Neisner brothers. Half the building was the Neisner's Five and Dime, and the other half J.B. Wells department store. And today, it's an apartment building. So there's another historic building that we're making good use of. The train station, which was opened in 1914, by New York Central Railroad, and through the years, again, you've had barbershops there and restaurants, so on and so forth. It went downhill in the 60s and 70s, but now has made a comeback. You have the Department of Motor Vehicles has their offices there, so there's a lot of traffic other than the train traffic at the old Union Station. Some of these buildings are really well built, and I'm thinking of the Fraser building, which later became Woolworths. It was built 1905, 1906, about that time. Well-built building, still in pretty good shape, even though it's over 100 years old. And it would be a shame to lose buildings, buildings like that. And these buildings are being put to good use.
The future of Utica's historic buildings depends on the future of Utica's businesses. One business that has become a symbol of perseverance is Bev's of Downtown. Times have changed, but B. Denmark is in for keeps.
54 years, 54 wonderful years.
And what keeps you here in downtown Utica?
Well, that's where all the action is, as far as I'm concerned, because it's done well by me. And it's been a good story for beginning to end. No end yet, no. They like what we have. It's different from everyone else's. I have a passion for selling and for buying, and it's just fun, and it's not a stagnant business. It's ever changing.
Bea mentioned that she carries styles that are classic and timeless and never go out of style. I'm holding one in particular, for example. This is a John coat and hat.
All the colors just blow your mind.
Believe it or not, this was my boys' shop back then. My mom would bring me here for clothes. Talk about change. Now it's I guess a female place. Genesee Nails.
You know what a feeling it is.
I have been coming to the Triangle Coffee Shop for more than 50 years. Back at Christmas time, I came here, I'm sure, with my mom to have a cup of hot chocolate on the way home after shopping. I still come here at least once a week, and you can come here and get yourself eggs, toast, and coffee for only $2.50. For the last 40 years, your hosts here have been Terry and Judy Kane. 40 years, right?
Yes, 40 long years.
40 long years.
40 long years.
Reaching high in the blue, blue sky. There's a cold.
Few people realize that in Utica there is a main street and a first street. It's hidden away here in one of my favorite areas of the city in Bagg Square. Bagg Square is coming back to life. The building behind me that many of you will remember as Herd Shoes, but which is now JetNet.
And the eagle soars in the distance.
JetNet is a business aircraft research service, and what they have done here is a perfect example. You can't find one any more fitting of how an old building filled with history has been turned into a modern facility without sacrificing any of the architecture or any of the charm or any of the history.
Certain people were bound to meet to share a little bit of their love.